The clock in the village square struck midnight, its echo reverberating through the silent streets of Eldridge Hollow. Residents had long since abandoned the town, leaving only whispered tales of the haunting past, which centuries of fog and shadows wanted to erase. At its center, the dilapidated old library, with its crumbling facade and decaying shelves, stood as a monument to forgotten knowledge. Mira had lived in Eldridge Hollow her entire life, a twilight existence spent weaving through memories of better days. But a wave of nostalgia washed over her as she stood before the library, the last reminder of her childhood adventures. She pushed open the heavy oak door with a groan that sent a shiver down her spine, dust particles dancing in the moonlight that seeped through the cracked windows. Inside, the air was thick and stale, the remnants of long-neglected books clinging to the walls like a forgotten past. A flickering light from a single bulb overhead gave the room a sinister charm. Mira's heart raced as she wandered the narrow aisles, barely brushing her fingers across the spines of ancient tomes. Each title spoke of dark secrets, tragic tales, and warnings once heeded but now lost to time. In the back, she stumbled upon a small, shabby desk piled with dusty manuscripts. Among the faded papers, one stood out, a leather-bound journal with a broken clasp. Curiosity piqued, she opened it to reveal frantically inked notes, detailing a time loop that entrapped the village every 50 years. It described how Eldridge Hollow had met a violent end, marked by the chilling fate of its inhabitants. The unsettling revelation sent a chill through her. The notes recounted how each cycle reset at midnight on the anniversary of the town's fall, trapping souls within their last moments as they were forced to relive their final day. Mira shivered and glanced at the clock, its hands inching towards 12. A sudden gust slammed the door closed behind her, trapping her in darkness. The record of her pulse hammered through her ears as she fumbled for the doorknob. Locked. Panic rose as the clock continued its relentless countdown. With each tick, the shadows lengthened, creeping closer, their whispers blending into an eerie symphony of despair. She turned back to the journal, skimming the words as if they might offer a way out. "Only the Keeper knows," it said ominously, "only the Keeper can break the cycle." The entry was vague, but it resonated deep within her. A part of her wanted to flee, but the morbid curiosity held her captive. And then she heard it, a soft murmuring, voices layered in the air, echoing the plea of those lost in time. They begged for release, for salvation from the unending repetition, their shadows flickering against the brittle spines with desperate urgency. "What do you want from me?" Mira cried, her voice quivering, the weight of the air making each breath a labor. Through the whispering shadows, a figure emerged, an ethereal version of herself, eyes wide and hollow, mirroring her own dread. "You must remember," it rasped, its voice a chilling melody. "You are the key to ending this cycle, to set us free." Quote, Mira felt a surge of understanding as fragments of long-buried memories resurfaced. A family gathering interrupted, a storm that swallowed the town whole, a sacrifice made to save a life that demanded more than it gave. The realization tightened her throat. She had been a witness, the last living tethered to Eldridge Hollow's imprinted history, and now she bore the weight of its forgotten tragedies. Suddenly, the clock chimed, a ceaseless toll echoing across dimensions. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the past, recalling every face she'd left behind, every life frozen for 50 years. Mira reached out to the shadow of her double, melting into the essence of those bound to this place. "Help me remember," her voice trembled, merging with the spirits wrapped in despair. "Together, we can end this." Quote, the library shuddered violently as the hands of the clock raced forward. Together, they forged through the past, weaving each moment of betrayal, love, and pain into an incantation that vibrated through the decayed wood. Light exploded as they reunited, illuminating the sheer terror etched into the walls. With a final bang, the door burst open, and a blinding flash enveloped Mira. The library echoed with the laughter of children, the barking of dogs, the cries of long-lost love, all music of the life Eldridge Hollow had dreamed. But then silence settled back in. Mira opened her eyes, gasping. She stood outside the library, the moon glowing benignly overhead. The village looked the same, but the air felt different, lighter, unhindered by the chains of the past. And yet, as she took a step forward, the clock in the square told midnight once more, an unsettling chime that echoed through the shadows of the hollow. It was a reminder that time waits for no one, and some loops are harder to break than others.